Hi everyone, welcome back. And the next tutorial, which will be this one, we are going to continue to basically go through the tools that will help you to understand how to extract pictorial elements from flattened image. And what that means by flattened image, that there's no layers. You sort of downloaded it from a public domain or Google or wherever you have found the image, and you're bringing it into Photoshop. You're extracting what you don't want, and then you're dragging and dropping it into your layout so that you can compose your poster. Now, a couple of tutorials will be made. This will be one of the first ones. So let's just start with something like this. Let me zoom in. So as you can see, all these tabs up here on the upper horizontal level, top of the page, you see all these tabs. They have been open through Photoshop. And that's simply going File, Open, going through all the pictures in your folder and opening them up, and they will create their very own tab. Again, to the far right, when you look at the arrows, you can mouse down and see a whole list of your photos. So I'm going to go back to my photo of the layout that I have been building a composite for the layout as it is. And again, keeping yourself organized, as you can see, how I go through my folders, how I find my folders, what they're actually under, and so forth. And I'm coming up here to find the poster layout. Again, my higher number is my last edit, and so I'll take that, poster 2. This is the poster that in the previous videos I created under File, New. And to be sure that I have the right size, always double check image size. That is reality, not what you see. Yes, this is the layout, 13 inches by 19 inches, 150, everything is good. Okay. And over here are my layers, which you must always have open. And then, of course, I also have my toolbar over here as well. And again, you can scrub this. You can scrub this down, highlight, mouse down, and just simply turn everything on, which is what I have here. You take the Move tool on your tool. You can begin to move things around. And this one was when I flattened in that last video. I flattened multiple candy corns so that I can begin to make them as a particular image. And again, if I turn all these off, you can sweep, mouse down and sweep that. And here is my layout that would be my guide to be able to use in your composite, which is why the sketching and the rough mock-up is so important. Just very rough. It's just to give you a guide about placement, scale, and things like that. But let's continue going through all the different extractions of tools that we have. So here we have the one tree, and let me take one picture here. So on this one, I want to extract this young girl. So there's a couple of tools that we've gone through before. Again, make sure that whatever you're bringing into your composite is going to have the same resolution. Let's go over that again. You go to Image, Image Size, and as you can see, this is not the resolution of my layout right here. It's 72. So remember, and I'll repeat this again, always look at image size, which is up here under Image. This tells you what your asset, what your multiple images are going to be, and you need to change that so that it fits your layout. So again, resampling is off. Turn this to 150, which is what our layout is. And now the image in actuality, without a distortion, is 10 inches by 7.5. And I'm going to double click this layer. Another thing to remember, that when you have things opened up, it is locked, so you want to double click it. So now, again, another good habit is once you have a layer, you might duplicate it. So right click with the mouse, duplicate right there, say okay, turn it off because you don't want to manipulate that. You can also lock it. So if you select it, you can lock it right up here and then turn it off. And then you know, don't mess with this. This is the original source. So then here we have this one and a couple of tools to be able to utilize as we will go through. So the ones that we have done in the previous videos are the lasso and the polygonal. Now the magnetic lasso is different. So let's go through that. You want to zoom in, and the lasso tool works very good with contrast. It doesn't work very good when you have something like this, where there is no contrast between the hair and the background. Works very good on this because there's a contrast. So on here, the contrast is going to work very nicely because of the hair. So with the lasso tool, you basically mouse down and you're just dragging with your mouse down. And again, you can move the picture with spacebar. So I'm just dragging this, and then again, you can delete, but go all the way up to where you are, and you see it's deleting. And then I drag it again. It takes a little bit of time to work with. So you see it's not as good when we are with non-contrast, but once it's contrast, it snaps. So again, you see I'm making mistakes, so I just hit the delete key, stay where I want to be, and then it can pick up where you are. So if you zoomed in really well, it does pick up nicely. So again, I'm not happy with where it's grabbing, so I'll start back down here again. I'm deleting with the delete key, and this time I'm going to go slower, and you see it's literally hugging her skin tone. So I'm going all the way up, space bar, so I can move it down, space bar on the keyboard, coming down. Now it's not going to pick up those little fine hairs, so that's a different tool. And then I connect and wait for that circle right there, and there it has it. And so now I can zoom out, view, fit on screen, and so that's fine. Now, if I wanted to, I could go, like if I wanted to get this arm, I could go to the quick selection tool at this point. And the quick selection, if you look up here in the upper left-hand corner, there are add and minus. So minus, I'm going to take minus, and I'm going to come here and I go, you know, I really want to add. Let's go back to add. I really want to add this arm. So I'm mousing down, and if you zoom in, it gets a little bit more fine-tuned. And now back to add. So I'm going back. I need to click that tool. Make sure you click it. I was on the zoom tool. So I'm adding, and this way it's literally adding what I want. And again, if I don't want something, I can go up to the minus, and you can make your brush go smaller and go, I want you to fine tune that right to the arm. And so I can say right to the arm. So I'm fine tuning that particular path. And you see up here, I want to get a little bit more of the shawl. So I need to add. So as soon as you don't, if it's doing something that you don't want, then you just go to the opposite. There. So that's better. That's all good. And I can come here. I want this to minus. Want it to get closer, minus, get closer. So you can jump between different tools to fine tune what you want, because it's understanding that you want these details that it couldn't pick up before. So right up here, so I'm going to add. I want you to get that little nice curve around her neck as such. And again, you really can fine tune it, as you can see. So I'll go back to my minus, and here I am. If you can't see the cursor, I'm right by the ear, and I'm going to zoom in, quickly jump to the Z key, Z, are the keys that help you to jump around, back to the minus, and I'll get smaller on my brush. So I'm going to say, I really want you to fine tune that ear. And so then again, back to plus. Where's my brush? And fine tune that. There we go. Okay, good. Then back to view, up here. Back, go back, fit on screen. There we have it. So that's exactly what I want. And so again, 80% of the tools in Photoshop are pretty much getting those marching ants where you want them to be, because you are going to do something with this subject matter, which is the girl that I have just isolated. And now what I don't want is the background. So simply I will come up here to select, inverse, and if you zoom out further, not zoom in, zoom out, as you can see here, the marching ants are all around the screen. Now you may not see that if you're zoomed in, so do zoom out, which is why you can jump to view quite quickly. Zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, or Z key is on the keystroke. So now I'm going to eliminate everything I don't want. So I will hit delete. And because I used a soft edge of a brush, and I'll show that to you, that means that it's not hard edge, as you can see here. And now I can save my marching ants if I want, because often you're doing silhouettes and it takes a long time to get those marching ants in the right place. So you want to save it. So one way to save it is under Select, Save Selection. Just give it a name that's recognizable. And now when I do Control D on the keyboard to get rid of the marching ants, I have it. And just to show you the soft edge, I'm going to make a layer down here. Make a layer. I'm going to fill it with a color. I'll fill it with a very dark color, black, and fill. And now you see it's on the foreground, but you can mouse down and just drag it below. Put it to the background. And there's that soft edge that we're talking about. And that is sometimes what you want when you are building multiple images together so that it blends to the background. Okay, so that is one aspect of using the tools. Let's go back and turn this off. Let's go back to our main source again, fit on screen, and we'll end this video so that basically this video is covering you the one aspect of the tool, which is the extraction using the magnetic lasso and the quick selection tool. So these two combos, which they sit right next to each other. The other videos did the lasso, which is freeform, polygonal. This one was a magnetic one. And this one was also editing in combo together with the selection tool. And sometimes when you go, if you lose your marching ants, if you do a Control Z, often they will come back. So I'm going to end this video simply because I want to go to the next extraction tool, and I will name the video exactly what the extraction tool is. So there's quite a few, and the ones that are quite a few is we want to get to the quick mask, which is right down here. So if I come up here and I duplicate this one again, I can unclick this, turn this, keep this on, turn that off, lock it. Now I duplicated it. And now I can come over here and work with the quick mask, which I will do in the next video. So the next video is going to go through a couple of things, and this is a quick overview. We've covered pretty much the lasso, polygonal, and magnetic. The other one also, and remember that escape key always undoes a tool of any kind. Quick selection, magic wand. I haven't done the object select, but I do have to say it's quite impressive. Let's do this right now, simply because we're here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to identify this. There's a rectangle, and you can use a lasso. So this is a tool that I've never used before. So I'm showing you something, what it's like to do something that you've never used before, and you literally just play with it and see what happens. Okay, so you always look at the variables that the Photoshop gives you, or any program gives you. It gives me lasso, so I'm just going to identify this and say, I just want this, and let's see what happens. It's doing something. And there you have it. So welcome to new tools in Photoshop. That is now a new algorithm, which I'm now liking a lot, that I would say it's a go-to one. And all it did was assimilate what they think you want based on contrast and identified what you did. So all that time it took me to get the marching ants where they want to go. Here is a brand new tool that I've never used before, but intuitively I just followed the little guidelines that they give you to be able to utilize. And now I can come up here to inverse and say, okay, that's what I want, and hit delete. See, it deletes and delete. There you go. Okay, next video we'll be going through some more tools.